Washington Commanders held another OTA session today here in Ashburn, and it was a spirited effort by a team that's looking to rebound from a 4-win season last year. And as previous OTAs, even going back to rookie minicamp, they're getting after it. And these practices or OTAs are actually looking like practices. And I think for Washington, they're ushering in a new time. And a lot of the veteran players that they brought in, such as a Bobby Wagner, had this to say as far as his role and what he's seeing out on the field.
I think we got a really cool room. I think from Coach Norton down to everybody that's in the room, I feel like it's a great group of guys, really smart, fast, want to hit, want to learn, want to take charge of the defense. And so I'm excited just to, whenever we put the pads on, get out there and just start making plays.
So as you can tell, Bobby Wagner's a guy that commands respect, and he definitely had our attention at the podium as far as his leadership and what he expects to bring to the Washington Commanders. Mariota, another veteran, spoke as far as what he's expecting to bring, and he talked about how he checked his ego in a long time ago, so he's in this to help Jaden Daniels as well as himself. He talked about what he can bring to the Washington Commanders.
Well, I think first and foremost, I just thought it was a great opportunity. It's an awesome staff. We got a bunch of just great vet players that have been around. So when they came calling for me, I couldn't say no. Honestly, I wanted to try to stay west. I wanted to be closer to home. But with these guys and this opportunity, I couldn't pass it.
Obviously one of the things that you notice out on the field is coaching, and the position coaches are getting after it. They're letting guys know just what they need to be doing out there. There's a lot of positive reinforcements as well, a lot of encouraging words. And one of the position coaches that really needs no introduction is Coach Anthony Lynn, and he's a guy that has an extensive background in the NFL as a head coach, former coach of the Chargers, as well as a great position coach, running back coach. And Brian Robinson talked about how Coach Anthony Lynn will help translate his game to the next level.
We get better every day. It's just getting started. For a long season to come. And I'm sure I will continue to see my game translate. Over time. Right now we're just kind of putting down the base, fundamentals to just how we want to go to work.
So a lot of the main players, some of the heavy hitters were obviously Bobby Wagner, but he's new. But one of the mainstays who's been here for a while, been in the Pro Bowl, is defensive tackle Daron Payne. And Daron's always been soft-spoken, but he had this to say today as far as just the new environment.
Oh man, just buying into the new philosophies, the new coaches, just the way that they do things, the way they want things done. It's just different from what we had. So I just wanted to come in and buy into the process and just grind it out and get back to the field.
Coach Quinn, who's become a guy that I look at now as a coach that eloquently explains everything that he's talking about, spoke to us today for about 10 minutes and covered various topics. But he had this to say as far as the team and what they're looking for as far as just the depth and as far as how they're coaching some of these younger players.
It's like everything, we're trying to find out what unique things a player has and how to feature them. That not only will be during this time of year. Can he be a punt returner? Can a safety come down to play dime? Can a tight end split out wide? Those are things that it takes time through training camp. One player may be able to, another player may not. So it does take a little bit of exploring, but that's like our job as coaches, to find any unique traits that the players have and how would we feature those unique traits. And trying to find the things that people can do versus the things that they can't do. The very best teams I've been a part of were really strong in the locker room first. And those standards that they create together, to me, that's where the gold is. And so having ways to hold each other accountable, to push one another, to challenge one another, and that's what really being a great teammate is all about. Sometimes you're the mentor, sometimes you're the mentee, and it doesn't have to be young to old always either. It's like we were talking about earlier, a player now going to do some punt returning. Well, Crowder's a great person to talk to you about that if you've not done a lot of punt returns or kick returns. So finding these little spaces to lead one another, push one another. Sometimes it's in the weight room, to say, come on, this is the guy who brings that energy into that. Sometimes you'll see it on the field. So it's not one person that has to continuously lead in every way. That's what, no one's leading in that space. That's a real cue. It's time to stand up.
So there was a lot of stuff going on out here today in Ashburn. And again, these OTAs have a feel of a regular season practice. I mean, they're really orchestrating things. It's very polished, very organized, and I think that this will help this football team when it matters, when training camp really kicks in and you get your preseason games in leading up to your regular season. But right now, everything that you see has a professional stamp on it. And I think for the Washington Commanders, that's something they've been lacking. They've been devoid of pretty much over the last 2-3 decades. So I'm excited to see where this thing can go. But there's still plenty of football and still plenty of practice left. So right here at Commanders Park, I'm Lake Lewis.